The latest in tech suit innovation. Frictionless fiber construction. Surface lift technology. Endo compression cage. Seamless exo shell. Tier Benzo. Battleborn.
Hello and welcome to Deep End Live at day 2 of the British National Diving Cup 2019. My name's John Mason. If you're just joining us, it's an absolute pleasure to have you here. What a weekend it has been so far. If you haven't caught up with it, you're in for a real treat, I promise you that. This show, brand new show, Deep End Live, is going to bring you the action from the elite swimming, para-swimming and diving from all across the UK throughout 2019. We're heading up there in April to Glasgow for the British Swimming Championships and the British Para International Swimming Meet. But we started here, oh, it's Tom and Matty, started here at the Diving Cup. we're about to head into the men's synchro final. The athletes are all getting warmed up, getting ready. But before we head to that final, I'm going to take you for a little tour around the studio. This is where we're having lots and lots of fun. So this is your chance to get up close and personal with the athletes. We're getting to know them better, get to play some games. We've got our duck challenge over here. We've got some Polaroid. I mean, I didn't even know they still existed. Polaroid camera, because we've got over here our best of British, okay? So these are all the athletes that have taken home gold medals so far this weekend. We've got Ross Haslam, Kat Torrance, Chris and I up there, Chris Mears and I, because we are the best of British. You're going to be seeing a lot of him throughout the weekend as well. But down here, this is the important stuff. This is the leaderboard for our duck challenge, okay? More on that to come, but all I can say is that Grace Reed stormed this challenge. She's way out in front on 34. She's competing in the 3-meter synchro tonight. So is she going to do as well there as she did in the duck challenge? Fingers crossed. But of course, loads of action still to come this weekend. It's not just happening tonight, it is also happening tomorrow. So let's take a look at the schedule. Up here, of course, is what you can tune into, what you can expect. You can tune in on BBC Sport and BBC Sport Connected TV. You can also follow along on British Swimming YouTube page. So today, we've already had the men's 3-meter final. That was taken by Daniel Goodfellow. The women's 10-meter final, just there, taken by Gemma MacArthur. Incredible, incredible performances from both of those athletes. We're about to see the men's 10-meter synchro and the women's 3-meter synchro. Tomorrow, of course, our final day of action at 3:30 p.m. We kick off with the women's 3-meter springboard final. And last event of the weekend at 4:20 p.m, the men's 10-meter final. So loads still to come, including catch-ups with some guests. We've got some very special chaps who have come down to join me. We've got Jordan Holden and Anthony Harding. Welcome, boys. Welcome to Deep End Live.
Thank you. Hello.
Yeah, how's your weekend been so far?
Very good.
Yeah?
A lot of training, a lot of competitions. It's been very busy as well, so...
I mean, it's the first competition of the 2019 season, so
Yeah.
a lot of people sort of coming into this and sort of saying they're brushing off the Christmas cobwebs and all that sort of stuff, get back into training. How has the lead up to this been for both of you boys?
It's been very intense training. There's been like 6 days a week, about 24 hours for the week. It's been intense. So,
it's been intense.
Yeah.
I mean, for you, Jordan, you had the 1 meter yesterday and, of course,
Yeah.
got a bronze medal in the 3-meter synchro as well, so congratulations
Thank you.
on that. You've been on top form. How are you feeling sort of coming into this and sort of looking forward at this season?
I'm feeling very positive coming into this season. I mean, for the past 2-3 years, I've been out with injuries, so I haven't really been able to dive. So coming into this is my first seniors back in 3 years, so it's been very incredible to be back. So,
I mean, it's been a pleasure to watch you dive as well. Chris was sort of noting yesterday in the commentary that your diving from last year to this year has sort of come along rockets and leaps and bounds, and you know, you're looking really, really strong. What's that been down to? Has there been any major shake-ups in your sort of training program or anything?
Yeah, I've had like knee problems, I've had a shoulder problem, so there's been a couple of shake-ups here and there. So.
Yeah. But you're feeling good?
Yeah, feeling good.
That's all that matters. We like that. And Anthony, a big year for you last year, of course. You went down to the Youth Olympics in Buenos Aires. Storming performance. How was that for you? Talk us through that experience.
That was a brilliant experience. It's a bit like the Olympics, really, but
Yeah.
a little bit smaller. Only one board though, but I went in with confidence and did what I can do, and I performed really well.
Yeah, obviously. And I know your family went down. That was like the first time they kind of followed you to like a major event, right?
Yeah.
What was it like having them in the crowds?
Loud. You can't really miss them or not hear them.
Parents, like, what do you expect?
Number one supporters.
Exactly.
Have to be, yeah.
Are you one of these people though? Like, I get a bit more nervous when people are in the crowd that I know. Is that for you, or you like them being there?
I'm a bit of both.
Yeah.
Depends. I don't really care sometimes, but
Yeah.
I don't mind.
I mean, it obviously paid off, and congratulations on all of those successes. So, just quickly before we get into our duck challenge, Anthony, looking forward to this year. What are you hoping for? What are your eyes set on?
Well, at the start of the year, I didn't really expect anything big because first year senior, first time getting all the big dives off. Didn't really expect anything really, but I've finished this diving competition off really well. Hopefully I can get selected for a few meets along the year and keep performing well.
Well, fingers crossed. Keep it up, boys. It's been brilliant watching you here this weekend. Now, we've had a competition out there. As I said, we are having our own one here, and you guys are going to get involved in this. I love this. It's our duck challenge. So basically, what we're going to do is I'm going to put 20 seconds on the clock, and you boys have to, one at a time, using your thumb and forefinger only, move as many ducks across as possible. So, Jordan, you're up first, all right? Here we go. I'm going to get 20 seconds on the clock. Are you ready? Focus is key. 3, 2, 1, go! Come on, Jordan, come on. You're going to have to move faster than this if you're going to want to get anywhere near what Grace was. Go on, Jordan. You got to stay focused. Don't buckle under the pressure. Come on, if you don't beat Grace, you at least got to beat Chris Mears. He's standing off the side here. He's miserable that he's not on top of that podium. You got it? 2, 1, stop! Oh, you know what? Unfortunately, these, they don't count. So, we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. You know what? He didn't beat Chris. 30's not bad. Did the same as Tom Daley. I think you'd tie scores with Tom Daley in the competition. There you go. Get your score on that. And while you do that, Anthony, you come over here. It's your turn next. Let him squeeze through. Let him squeeze through. Get in position. All right, you ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, go! 20 seconds on the clock. Oh, look at that. Look at that face. Not an expression. That is intense. Intense focus. Keep it up, mate. You're halfway there. 10 seconds to go. Oh, see, way fiddlier than you think it's going to be. We lost a duck. We lost a duck. Come on, the crowd's involved now. Come on, Anthony. Stop. Stop.
Oh, that was a very good run.
The whole crowd just got involved there. How do you reckon you did?
I think I started off well.
Yeah, I started off well, died off towards the end. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, one behind Grace. Dude, shake my hand, that was impressive.
The Ep6 skills.
Get your score on that, we love it, we love it. Guys, what a night. Well done, thanks so much for coming down and joining us. Of course, we've got a competition happening in the pool behind us. I caught up earlier on in the week with Tom and Matty, so let's hear what they had to say. All right, guys, joining me here for...
No retakes.
No retakes.
No
We're not allowed to retake. Joining me here is Tom Daley and Matty Lee, new partnership for this year's competition. Guys, thanks for coming down. New partnership, how's it going?
I'd say it's going pretty well.
Yeah, it's good.
We've only been doing synchro since October, so there is a little bit of, getting used to each other's techniques and things like that. But so far, so good.
Yeah,
Fingers crossed.
Exactly.
Matty just moved down to London from Leeds, big city. Are you loving it?
Yeah, I'm loving it. It's completely different. Obviously, Leeds is a little smaller than London, but I honestly love it. Training alongside Tom and the guys at London, and Jane as well, and I'm really.
What's your favourite thing about London so far? Best city in the world. Best city in the world.
The Breakfast Club's pretty good.
The Breakfast Club. Love that. Yeah. Now, Tom, as well, you obviously were training with Dan. Now, what's it like with this one?
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Exactly, that's what he wants to hear.
Amazing. It's been one of those things that it's been quite an easy transition. Like, it's not something that I don't feel like either of us have had to worry about what the other person's doing. We've been both good at concentrating on what our individual dives are, and then just standing next to each other. We don't really need to think too much about the synchro, which has been nice. But with Dan, I only had 9 months training before the Olympics to get to a point where we were able to win a medal. So now, actually diving with Matty every single day, and we're going to have 18 months is going to be quite a dramatic difference, I think.
Absolutely. Well, we look forward to seeing what you're going to do. Now, just got back from Rio as well.
Yes.
Very jealous.
Yeah.
What was it like for you, Matty, out there at training
Yeah,
camp?
it's good. I've been before, dived in the same pool. It was really good. Didn't tan at all. I don't usually tan anyway, so I didn't even try. But, I think he went out twice and was black.
Yeah,
It went so dark.
Yeah.
I love that. Did you have fun while you were out there as well?
It was, it was great. It was very hot, and lots of hornets. So in the pool.
So
Hot and hornet.
hot and hornet.
Hot and hornet, yeah.
In the pool.
Yeah, hot and hornet in the pool. It was a lot. We had to get a fumigator in to get rid of the hornets and everything. So,
That sounds quite terrifying, actually.
it was.
And now, Tom, obviously, big year for you.
Yes.
You're a dad.
Yeah.
Going back to, I mean, congratulations.
Thank you very
First
much.
of all,
Thank
it's very
you.
exciting.
Yeah.
Going back to training
Yes.
with a little one.
Yeah, it's very different. It changes your perspective on everything because I'm able to go to training, and whether it's a good day or a bad day, I know I'm going to go home and have the little one get excited to see me come through the door. So it's like, it doesn't matter. You know, it's been really nice actually, because normally for an athlete, diving or like your sport, it's like the be all and end all. Whereas now it's like, oh, you know, no matter what happens here, I can go home and just have cuddles. So it's good.
With your little one.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it everything you wanted it to be?
Oh, and more. Yeah, it's been amazing.
Oh
yeah.
my God, that's so sweet. And lastly, Matty, obviously, start of a big year, start of the season. What's your aspirations for the both of you guys as a parent?
In synchro, we hope to qualify a spot at the Olympics. We can do that at the World Championships. We've got World Series to look forward to. And obviously we haven't competed properly together on 10 metre yet. And so this will be our first competition, National Cup. So we're just excited to see what happens, and I'm sure it'll be great.
It's a big one. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Guys, we'll see how it goes. But thanks so much for coming down and joining us.
Thanks for having
Anytime.
us.
We'll see you in the studio.
Yes.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Cheers.
There we are, Tom and Matty, of course. Fairly new partnership coming into this competition. Chris is here with us, our man in the know. He's going to talk us through some ones to watch. Let's start with those boys, Tom and Matty.
Yeah, Tom and Matty, they're both really experienced internationally. They're internationally known as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is the Nationals. They're here to impact. It's a really important event for them. They've competed once together already. I think it was like a Scottish Nationals or something like that.
Yes, it was.
I think it went pretty well. It's the start of the season, so we'll just see how they go. They've both got high degree of difficulty dives. If they can put them both down together, then we're probably on for a good one.
And I think individually those boys are so strong. You know, so putting them together, it's just about working out that synchronicity and working out that flow between the two of them, right?
Yeah, and actually I think it will work better than the partnership of Tom and Dan. And of course, they got an Olympic bronze medal. So,
Exactly.
You know, Tom with Matty, I think their body type is very similar, and the way that they do their dives, Dan spins so quick. I know it was really hard for Tom to keep up with that. So Matty and Tom, I think, is a really good partnership.
I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do. As you can see them up here, this is our diving parade happening, the athletes coming out. So let's move on quickly. Noah and Kyle, strong competitors. Noah won a silver medal in this event at the Gold Coast with Matthew Dixon. So again, another new partnership.
I really like watching these boys dive. They really know how to nail a back on reverse 3.5. I don't want to jinx them today because I really want them to nail their dives, but they're really fun to watch. They're really nice guys as well, really down to earth.
Yeah.
And they're both really passionate as well. So we'll just see how they can impact today. They will be pushing. If Tom and Matty mess up in any way, they'll be there to take it.
This is the word on the street. I've been hearing quite a few people say this. So Tom and Matty really are going to have to be clean for this, to go clean, aren't they, for this, this competition?
Always up for a fight, these guys.
Exactly. And I know Kyle himself, he had sort of a really bad injury. He's come back, is now sort of back in fighting form. So I'm looking forward to see what he can do.
I don't remember when Kyle last didn't have tape on his body. So to see him in the pool, fairly injury-free, and talking like he's quite confident about, you know, getting into a competition with no injuries is really good to see.
I know. Bless him. We'll see how he does. Finally, we got another young partnership, a new partnership. Lucas Thompson and Ben Cutmore. Great lads. Looking forward to seeing what they're going to do out here.
Ben Cutmore has absolutely done really well on the junior circuit. Let's hope that he can take this onto a more senior part of this journey. I don't know, we'll see. He's really confident as a junior, but you know, it's hard in this field when you're competing against Tom Daley, Olympic medalist.
Of course.
And the famous Tom Daley as well, and Matty Lee. That's going to be really difficult.
It is, but you know, Lucas is so calm and so collected, and weirdly for someone so young, I think has such a good game face. So whether they're going to make a run for that gold medal, I don't know, but I'm just interested to see what they do out there.
Yeah, Lucas also competed at the Gold Coast, and he did really well. Like, we were so excited watching him dive. It was really nice to have him part. Obviously, he was part of Team Scotland, but he was kind of part of our team at the same time. We hung around with him loads. He's really good fun. So let's see what we can do.
Yeah, well, look, loads to look forward to, like we did say, so do not go anywhere. Remember, the hashtag for the entire event is hashtag DeepEndLive and hashtag NDC2019. We would love to hear from you, so get messaging and let us know what you're thinking about the dives. Let us know what you're thinking about Deep End Live. But for now, Chris is going to head up to commentary. It's over to Bob Ballard and this one to talk us through the competition. I'll see you in a bit.
It is absolutely rammed up here. There's not even any seating accommodation. We have a lot of the divers behind us. Just a wall of people just looking for seats. I think that may be because Mr. Tom Daley is in the house, and the whole of Plymouth seems to have come out to welcome him back into the city. He'll be going with Matty Lee, as you heard John and Chris mention a few moments ago. There'll be dive list 3. Ben Cutmore, Lucas Thompson up first. Todd Gigas and Hayden Raymond will be going second. Tom Daley, Matty Lee, followed by Noah Williams and Carl Cathari, and then Brandon Foster and Owen Harrison. So 5 pairs for the men's 10. For the women's 3, we'll have 7 going for that. I'll go through a list of that, of course, as we get nearer. There's Mr. Daley with his new partner, Mr. Matty Lee. And oh, Tom, well, the old man, really, isn't he? At 24. Amazing to think he has been, well, he's British champion at 11, and he's been on the world circuit, European circuit now for 13 years. He have a chance he'll bow out after Tokyo. I'm sure that Tokyo was quite in his plans when he went to Rio, but because of how the 10 worked out in Brazil, he's carrying on with a new partner. He's been through a few partners, hasn't he, Tom Daley, over the years? But this will be the one I think he'll finish his career with, Matty Lee. Chris now managed to fight his way through the crowd and the autograph hunters who wanted you.
Slightly out of breath, running up the stairs.
Fighting your way through all the people. It is absolutely rammed. Just looking down where the seats are, there's people sitting in the aisles. There's not enough seats for people.
Can't get enough of the diving.
But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Tom and Matty do. And also, as you were saying, look at the other lineups. Lucas Thompson will want to kind of put the morning memories behind him because he was nowhere near on point today.
He wasn't. That's just the way diving goes sometimes, but hopefully he's had a little bit of time to reflect on that performance and he can pull it out of the bag tonight. And obviously he is doing the synchro, so he's got someone stood next to him to try and pull on confidence-wise. Ben Cutmore hasn't done a lot on the senior circuit yet, but he was very successful as a junior, so really excited to see what he can do tonight.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, a new combination with Noah Williams and Carl Cathari going for Dive London. Brandon Foster and Owen Harrison for Sheffield and Southampton. Well, remember the last time there was a Southampton and Sheffield combination? A certain Pete Waterfield and Leon Taylor.
That went pretty well.
Didn't it?
It did.
Silver medal in Athens in the 10-meter synchro, surprisingly.
Both my inspirations. I remember watching that 2004 DVD that British Swimming gave us all that time ago. I watched it so many times and I just
wore
thought...
it out, didn't you?
I did, yeah. Me, I know Jack Law as well. We used to talk about it all the time. We were in the gym, we were only probably 14, 15 years old, and we used to look up to them so much and what they managed to achieve.
Did you ever look at the 3-meter synchro in Athens? The most ridiculous competition I've ever covered with the Greek boys and people jumping in the pit.
Athens, yeah. I mean, that's just going to go down in history as one of the most unpredictable events of any sport ever. Just seeing dive after dive, a fail, a board hit, someone getting lost in their dive.
That's right.
And from the Chinese
they qualified
as well.
because they were home nation. That's the only reason they got in. Didn't get in by any other reason.
They didn't qualify by right. They qualified because they're a home nation, and then they end up taking away gold. It was absolutely amazing.
Then we have a bloke leaping in the pit just before the...
oh, yeah. I forgot about that as well. That was an exciting one. I wish I had that on DVD, actually.
Oh, well, I was sitting there and I'm going, is this real? Somebody just spiked my drink? What's going on? Anyway, here we go. We are in 2019 now. We're in February of it. And we have the British National Diving Cup men's 10-meter synchro. 5 pairs going. Ben Cutmore of Dive London, Lucas Thompson of Edinburgh. Up first, remember, first 2 rounds. Tariff will always be the same. Dives won't be, but the tariffs will always be 2.0. Inward dive to start.
And they are world-class finishes there. On the water, absolutely no splash being thrown up by either of them. Maybe slightly out of time, But as we saw yesterday in the synchro, no one went above 50 points, and now that is a kind of a benchmark. So these guys, first round, first dive, getting close to that 50 mark.
Yeah, 49.8 for Ben and Lucas. Now, to confuse matters a little bit here, Todd and Hayden will go off the 7.5 meter board, then 5.5, 7.5, 5.5. And I'm sorry, I actually don't know how to pronounce Todd's surname, so maybe you do.
I don't, actually.
Okay. I'll guess it.
Gegas.
Gegas?
Gegas.
I'll ask the boys around. Maybe from Southend in the vicinity. I don't know. Check with.
Now these boys again with the good finishes. There's literally not been an inch of splash been thrown up yet in this competition. But opting for the 7 meter, obviously these guys are younger and probably don't have the wrist strength yet to attack all their dives up at the 10 meter board. 44.4 for that dive.
So that's the starter for Todd and for Hayden. Now, well, they're calling him Thomas Daley in here. Being very formal. Tom Daley.
I haven't heard that for a while.
No, exactly. It's listed, it always has been listed as Thomas Daley, but I've never heard. There's some of our foreign commentators call him that. But always been Tom Daley to us, even when he was 11 years of age, winning the British Nationals at 11. Reverse dive for him and Matty Lee. Ooh.
That's really nicely done. Matty maybe was just a touch short, but that's being really picky. He just slightly piked through the water. Really, really nice dive for the boys. Very professional. As we can see, 54.6. That's world class, that.
Call the police. There's a 999 in there. No, Williams. Carl Cathari of Dive London. They'll have a back dive, reverse dive. Their biggest dive's the forward 4.5, which only 2 pairs are doing.
There's a nice dive there by Noah, really taking all the water down with him. He was a little bit further back than Kyle. Kyle not quite getting his hands on that for some reason. Maybe he just missed his entrance a little bit, maybe the hand grab. 46.8, so not quite over that 50 mark. I can see Kyle shaking his head there. Not happy with that dive at all.
Can't do, saying yes, he can't do an awful lot of damage with the requireds.
It does put you in good stead for the optional rounds. If you manage to get ahead of everybody in the requireds, it does really set you up.
Well, let's see what happens with this young pair. In fact, the youngest pair in here. Well, no, they're not quite. Brandon Foster and Owen Harrison.
We're seeing that dive a little bit out of time. Brandon just a little bit later there. Not a bad dive, 46.2, slightly down there.
Yeah, 46.20, so I just noticed that Todd Gegas is down as 11, which he's obviously not. Is he?
2007.
Yeah.
I thought 2005 was barbaric already.
Yeah.
2007. 11?
Anyway, that's round 1 done. 54.6 for Daley and Lee, so already opening up a little bit of an advantage. They'll have a back 1.5 somersaults, half twist to come. Right, we have a delay because Ben and Lucas have changed their trunks. I have no reason to know why. Perhaps you can enlighten me why they would change their trunks.
Probably better not to ask.
Have they both changed their trunks, or only one of them changed their trunks?
Yeah, well, hopefully they're not too nervous in the event. And
what do you say?
Something went wrong. But I'm sure there's a good reason why they've changed their trunks. And hopefully there's no malfunctions now.
I kind of wish I'd mentioned that, to be honest. We need to find out from later on. We do. Just put our minds at rest. Right, here they are. Oh, nice new trunks.
Very fresh.
Straight out of the packet. Just went to the trunk shop very quickly. It's a reverse dive for Ben and Lucas. We hope it won't be pants.
Oh, Lucas pulled that one over there, unfortunately. Touched his toes, reached back, was slightly closer to the board than Ben. And that's why you're seeing 43.4. The synchro just wasn't quite on point as the distances were out.
43.2 for them. Well, he could be 11. He could, actually. Because Thomas Dowler's 11 here, 2007, Hayden 2005. We've seen him dive already, so yeah, that's correct. Well, 11 and 13, these two.
There they go off the 5-meter board. If he is 11, he did a good job of that. Nice form, slightly sloppy going through the water. Not as tight, but you know, I feel bad. I feel bad critiquing an 11-year-old.
How old does that make you feel? 11 years of age. So, you were competing there, weren't you?
Sorry?
You were competing there, weren't you?
2011? Yeah, been competing for a while.
2007, no, 2007.
2007, yeah, sorry, yeah.
Yeah. God, it makes you feel old. Make Tom Daley feel old. Even at 24.
That's a huge extension there from Matty Lee. More extension than Tom, just slightly, but they drop into the pike really nicely, and they both get amazing finishes on the end of the dive. Another professional dive, another one over 50, 52.8. Not as much as their last round dive, but they're going to be pretty happy with that. That's a solid effort.
2 8.5s and a 9. That'll do. 52.80. They're opening up quite a chasm already in round number 2. Let's see how Noah and Kyle from Dive London can react. Of course, Matty's still down as a City of Leeds diver. He's back in London now with Tom, but for the purposes of this, he's down as a City of Leeds diver.
That's a great reverse dive. They mirrored each other really well. Maybe Noah slightly higher up with the legs. And I think 7.5s are maybe slightly harsh for that dive, in my opinion. But 51.6.
They liked the synchronization, though, didn't they?
They did. They loved it. It was really nice synchronization.
So, to Brandon Foster and Owen Harrison, who are both 17 from Southampton and Sheffield, as we mentioned. Now, they got their big dive right at the end. 3.3, but they'll work their way, obviously, like everybody else does, with the 2 2s to start off with. Forward 1.5, 1 twist.
Now that was executed brilliantly. I've actually never seen anyone use in synchro a standing single twister, which is diving jargon for 1.5 somersaults, 1 twist, and execute it that well.
Nearly 50.
Nearly 50 points. That was really nice. They both really went through the water.
Would have been quite nice if they got the 50.
Very clean. 50 would have been great on that.
49.8. So that's the third best mark, along with Ben and Lucas got a 49 in their first. So Daley and Lee are 9 points clear of everybody else at the stage. Foster and Harrison, well, nobody cut the drift really yet. The 11-year-old and the 13-year-old are still in contention. As we move on to the proper dives, the real stuff. The real McCoy coming up now. Inward 3.5 for Ben and Lucas, who I hope haven't changed their pants again.
Well, they seem to be on the board and ready. Inward 3.5 somersaults.
Inward 3.5, yeah. Just be careful not to knock out our cameraman if you can help it. I think it just hit him, actually.
Maybe he was aiming for him. Well, not
massive
quite
explosion.
there. Ben Cutmore going through the water better than Lucas. A little bit short, but really nice. Lucas dipped his head down and unfortunately seems to be carrying some of the mistakes he's been making in other competitions, especially in the 3 meter today. He's carrying that into his synchro performance here, which I'm sure he'll be kicking himself about that dive.
Well, I mentioned yesterday, not too many people either synchro or individually do 3 and 10 these days. It's quite a rare combination. So he's doing both 10 and 10 in one day.
It is quite rare. I think he does kind of prefer his platform diving over his springboard. The springboard's kind of a new thing.
Todd and Hayden off the 5 meter board. Forward 2.5.
Oh, slightly out of time there. They hit the end of the board at different times. Again, I feel bad for critiquing them as he's only 11 years old. I don't want to say anything too nasty, but
past his bedtime, isn't it?
Yeah,
6.
He's got school, hasn't he? Coming up.
40.56 is the future. When I'm long gone and you're retired, these boys will still be going, you know. Tom and Matty, who have had a very good start. 54.6 and a 52.8 for people who've experienced great highs in the world stage. Of course, world champion, European champion, Olympic bronze medalist, Tom Daley.
Ooh. Well, they delivered world-class required dives. Tom, again, proving that his reverse is his favourite dive, absolutely taking that down, getting 8.5, 9, 8.5. Matty came out very early and had to arch the whole dive round. Probably going to hurt his back. It would definitely hurt mine. But he still gets away with it. He gets 7.5.
I'm surprised by that.
He put a really clean rip entry on it.
Aesthetically, it didn't look that great to be halfway down.
Also, when you're stood next to someone that's just got a 9, 8.5, you know, sometimes the judges kind of see an overall impression of the dive and they tend to mark it up just a tad.
Might be a bit lucky there, but they'll take it. 77.52 for Daley and Lee. Now, Noah Williams and Carl Cathari for the inward 3.5.
I love watching these boys dive. That was so good. In time, slightly different on the pike outs. Kyle stayed a little bit piked, which is why, actually, I kind of agree there, maybe the 7.5, but the rip was so nice as he went through the water. Noah absolutely destroyed the finish on that. Didn't really see where he went in, he just disappeared.
82.56. Look at that. 8.5, 9. Will count towards the score. That's the biggest score we've had so far. And after a very good forward 1.5, 1 twist, just up in the ante a bit. 2.5 now for Brandon Foster and Owen Harrison, Southampton and Sheffield.
Now, 1 somersault less. Entries were clean. They were out of time a little bit. You can see there. Closest to us, Brandon is a little bit ahead.
59.25 puts him into 3rd place as things stand. Lead for Daley and Lee is only 4 points now. Down to 4 after round 3. So Williams and Cathari cut into that lead quite substantially there.
Well, now this is proof of why the required dive rounds are so important. You can see Tom and Matty, they had more points in the required round, so they hold their lead. But Kyle and Noah had a better optional dive, and they were able to catch them a little bit, but they're still ahead of them.
There's 3 rounds to go. And I'm looking at their like for like. The dives are the same in terms of tariff. Not the same in terms of execution, but they are in tariff. Here's Ben and Lucas. Best dive so far.
Much better from Lucas. Gets his hands this time. Really gets the dive spinning, both of them. Perfect synchro, actually. Really nice through the water. 72 points. They'll be happy with that.
Yeah, they should be. That's the best dive Lucas has done all day. Hey,
it is.
Got a smile. 3
It's
meters,
more like it.
3 meters didn't work very well for him. patching up being done on the shoulder of Ben Cutmore there. Todd Gegas and Hayden Raymond, 2007, 2005 born, which makes me feel like not even granddaddy, great-granddaddy, I think.
Dinosaur.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've been called worse. Inward 2.5.
Oh, you can see
Face
there,
plant.
it's landing short of vertical. Unlucky there. Nice top. Nearest to us, just didn't quite throw long enough, get into the tuck shape fast enough, so fell quite quickly to the water, short of vertical.
He's off. He's not hanging around.
No watching that back.
So, Matty Diver and Tommy Diver. Dive London, City of Leeds, as was, but both now under the umbrella of Dive London. Inward 3.5 for Daley and Lee.
That's great. Actually, it was Tom faltering there. Matty absolutely took everything down with him. You see no splash at all on the surface. Tom leaving that a little bit chesty and a little bit on his chest going into the water. It's a little bit short, throwing up some splash. Now, Matty's execution, 8.5, 8. I think Matty is the second half of the execution. It was definitely an 8.5, maybe even a 9 there from me on that inward 3.5.
I think this is the first British competition that Tom's done since 2015. He hasn't actually competed either nationals or diving cups in 2015, Tom. So
right. It's good to have him
in
back.
4 years, yep. And obviously he started really his comeback trail in October. Did do the World Series in Japan.
It's a really nice dive from the boys. A little bit lower degree of difficulty, but they really executed that well. Really good synchro. Maybe both of them slightly more splashy than they used to. They're used to making absolutely no splash whatsoever when they go through the water.
Do you know what? They've made up another point on Daley and Lee.
And there you go. They're still in the running. 259, 262. It's close.
Yeah.
Very close indeed.
And they've got exactly the same tariff dives to finish.
There is no room, sorry, to make any error moving forward in this competition.
Now, Daley and Lee end on a 3.7. Williams and Cathari have it next. Before we get to round 5, we must complete round 4, and we will do that with Foster and Harrison's back 2.5.
Foster and Harrison, another duo that sounds like a solicitor's. But not such a great dive there.
Irish music duo, couldn't
a little bit short there. Going through the water. Not the best, 53.94. We're looking for more than that on the back 2.5 pike. It is a lower degree of difficulty as well, so it should be easier to execute.
Well, we have a competition within a competition here, with the top 2 and the other 3 battling out for 3rd place, but that's tight. So they've got exactly the same tariffs in reverse order, though, in rounds 5 and 6. And forward 4.5 with Daley and Lee at the end. Whereas the forward 4.5 comes next for Williams and Cathari. I'm looking forward to that. Cutmore and Thompson. They've done a forward 3.5, but don't have the 4.5 in their armoury yet. Back 3.5 somersaults for the London-Edinburgh pairing.
Oh, Lucas went down. That was really nice. The way that he just picked the dive up, kicked there. Look, no, there's nothing. There's no splash there. 9s. Really nice dive. Ben, unfortunately, not quite performing that dive to the level of Lucas. It's safe to say that Lucas has left the pass behind him, left the 3-metre performance
behind him as well.
Well, there we go. A team effort anyway. In the end, the score is added together.
Okay, Todd and Hayden. Be nice if they could get into the 50s. This is their lowest tariff dive of the non-stipulated ones in the first 2 rounds. Reverse 1.5.
That's not a bad dive. A little bit too far away from the diving board. I've said this so much in my commentary so far. If you're doing a reverse and you move forward away from the diving board and you've got your chest down, it is so hard to do any reverse action.
That was off the 5-meter board, as their last dive will be as well. They have a couple off the 7.5, but the rest are on 5. Okay. Let battle commence between dive pair 3 and dive pair 4, because there's nothing between them at the moment. Absolutely locked together. 3 points exactly between first and second. So, Daley and Lee, what have you got? Back 3.5.
They've got more tariff, so they've got, in a way
same
you could
tariff.
say, same tariff
Yeah,
in his
yeah.
back pike now. Oh, Matty a little bit splashy there as he reaches back too hard. He didn't trust fully that he was in the right place, but he absolutely was, and he pulled too hard as he went through. Tom demonstrating why he's one of the best divers in the world there. Really nice back 3.5 pike.
Yeah, it's in terms of tariff, it's different in this round, but they level up because they're both doing 3.6, 3.7, but in a slightly different order.
That was my mistake. I thought Noah, and where is the sheet? I thought Noah and Kyle had a lower degree of difficulty, but they match, which is even more interesting for the competition.
Yeah, forward 4.5 coming. Now, that's left the door slightly ajar, I'd say. That back 3.5, but of course they've still got to execute this, and it's the toughest dive on either program. So let's see. Well, 3.8 individual, 3.7 synchro.
It's a little bit short there. It's not probably going to cut it, to be honest, but 4.5 is a difficult dive. It's hard to fit in off the 10-meter platform, especially if you don't get a good start and you don't get a good tuck shape, which we saw there.
Yeah, they've
doesn't look too displeased. He's always a happy guy, but inside I'm sure he's probably cursing himself.
Well, it's not a lot of damage, but it's enough to give Daley and Lee a 13-point lead now, but the tariffs involved in round 6 could all change. Before we get to that, though, here's Brandon Foster, Owen Harrison, both 17. Reverse 2.5. Took off at different times, landed at different times.
Yeah, different times there. The synchro was out, and also the distance was out too. And one went over, and one landed upright.
Shame. Just looked very ugly all the way down, that, didn't it?
Unfortunately so, in synchro, that does happen. If you go at the same time and with perfection, it looks great, but it's very easy to get it wrong, and then it looks really kind of eyesore-ish.
So 3.7 for Daley and Lee there, forward 4.5, compared to the back 2.5 with 2.5 twists for Williams and Cathari, which is slightly less in tariff.
Yeah, they pull ahead now, Tom and Matty, but they're not out of the woods yet. They've still got their last...
How often they've done the forward 4.5? A lot in training, I imagine.
Done a fair few in training. Matty, at Nationals, don't want to give him the commentator's curse. Kind of want to stop there, actually.
Yeah, don't say it. Say
I'm
it
not going to say
after,
anything. Just going to watch the dive.
Write it down if you like. So back 2.5, 1.5 twist to finish off the program for Ben Cutmore and Lucas Thompson, rather.
Again, nice finishes. Maybe it's a little bit out on the timing, going into the pike there. Lucas taking it down, and Ben too with the entry. 71.4. It's a good dive. It's not the best, but it's a good dive.
Yeah, well, they got it together from round 4 onwards, 72, 72 and 71. Just a shame that round 3 was so poor, which was one of the bigger dives. 54 they got on that, which kind of put them a long way behind.
Better late than never, but a little bit late to the party there.
Todd and Hayden, the 11-year-old and the 13-year-old from Southend. Here is the future. Forward 1.5, 1 twist. Be good if they could get their biggest score on this, which is potentially possible.
That's a great dive for them. Really good entries. Good takeoff. Nice neat twist. Slight difference in the distance of the dives. One was closer than the other. One was further out, whatever way you want to look at it. Nice little fist bump there. They seem to have practiced that in training.
Do you know that their best scores came on their required? Yeah, 44 and 43.
Well, there you go.
When the tariff went up, couldn't get it done, but requireds were fine. So, Daley and Lee have to set the standard for the following pair. Actually put it out of sight if they can.
The 4.5 is a difficult dive. When it goes right, it feels amazing. So easy to get wrong, and it does not feel good when it goes wrong. Oh, Matty squeezed it in. He came out too early. Unfortunately, out of the tuck shape, you see he comes out there too early, and he buries his head, but he recoups. He lifts his head up, and a 7.5. He has well and truly got away with that from that judge. But
Tom looked very anxious.
yeah, and you can see the synchronized judges there. They noticed the difference there on the entry.
Well, it's probably, I think, out of range now for Williams and Cathari. They're going to have to land on their heads and get scores that we've not seen over the first 2 days, but let's wait and see. Back 2.5 somersaults, 2.5 twists for the London pair.
It is possible.
8.5s they need.
Ah, Kyle really delivered the goods there. Really clean entry. Great takeoff from both of them. Noah, a little bit too much juice. Maybe he was a little bit too gassed before the dive. He goes straight over onto his back, unfortunately. 1.5, 2, and a broke 3 there for Noah. Unfortunate, because that is just the pressure getting a little bit too much. Shame. Real shame.
Real shame, but they did push the top pair all the way right to that final dive. So Foster and Harrison can't get top 3. Consolidate their 4th place with their back 1.5 somersaults, 3.5 twists. Their biggest dive by quite some way, actually, by 0.4.
Oh, we got a big leg split on the entry there, which is a real shame because the dives were slightly out of time. But if they both put an entry down with good form, that would have scored. Unfortunately, you see there, the legs come flying apart, absolutely lost control. There's a lot of twist to fit in from the 10 metre, and that, unfortunately, is not what he wanted at all there.
Nope, that's the end of the competition, and the last dive for Foster and Harrison, 45.54. So, we can wrap everything up with the kind of outcome we expected, but it took a while to get there. 421.41. They will improve on that. They want to get 500 plus and the rest.
I've just had a friend, Yona Night Wisdom. I've got many friends.
I know you have.
I just had a friend, Yona Night Wisdom, text me and shed some knowledge on Noah's back twist. This can happen with dives. He only did 1.5 twists, not 2.5 twists, which is why he went so far over. He got confused in his head of what dive he was doing, and he did the wrong amount of twists in the dive. I don't have the footage in front of me, so I can't watch it.
Judges didn't spot it.
It was not spotted by the referee or by the judges, apparently.
Which goes back to a conversation I had over breakfast about judges stroke referees having the ability to review if they question a dive, but at the moment it is not available to us in diving, so that will have to be parked for the time being. But a very interesting observation from Yona about that. Well, the boys are getting themselves ready, so we'll hear from our winners of the 10-meter synchro. Tom, Daley, Matty Lee are with John.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Our champions, Tom and Matty Lee.
We did it!
Guys, first big one out, first one that really kind of matters. How was that for you guys?
I think it was pretty steady. You know, we scored 421, which is quite a solid and consistent score, really, compared to the rest of the world, which is exciting considering it's the first time we've ever dived together. And there's a lot that we could have improved on some of our dives. So overall, really happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, you sort of mentioned that, a lot to improve on. This is sort of the baseline for you guys heading into 2019.
Yeah.
What are some of the things you're going to be looking at? Here, we got some of your dives here.
See, like watching
Not
it back,
bad.
I missed my hands on this one. And so was that big splash.
Here we
But the
go.
synchro on everything has been
Yeah,
pretty
the
good.
yeah.
So really happy with the way that's looking, actually.
I just need tweaks.
I mean,
and
I
things.
watched it. All look pretty nice to me. I'm not a judge, but I
happy
thought it
with
was
that.
fabulous.
Yeah, good, thank you.
So, guys, first start of the
Yeah.
competition, obviously. Still got another day to go. How are you feeling about it all heading into tomorrow?
Yeah, feeling good. It's nice to do well, obviously this is a serious competition as well, but it's nice to get a competition done before the individual as well tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's quite important for me because I can qualify for some I believe I can, yeah, like everyone, can qualify for some competitions, and that's
Yeah.
important for me. So it's nice to get a competition done today and get the feel for the competition, and then hopefully perform tomorrow.
Like a warm-up, but like an intense warm-up.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
It's weird because I was actually really nervous there today.
Were
and
you?
I never normally get nervous at nationals. I was stood on the end for my first dive and I was like, oh my goodness. I think it's because it's been so loud in here when we've been training, and it was the first time where it was like silence
Quiet.
and it made it feel like, oh, right, okay, this
All
is the
eyes on you
serious
guys.
bits, like throwing us in at the deep end, you know?
Yeah, and you got your fam in as well, haven't
Yes.
you?
Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
the first time that my son came to watch me dive. It sounds so crazy, but yeah, no, he was up there.
That's
Sweet.
I didn't hear him once, so.
I tell you what, you don't have to worry about any mistakes because he's not going to remember this one.
No, I know.
Not this
He was
one.
probably asleep.
You'll have
Yeah,
to watch it back on
he was
YouTube.
probably either asleep or eating. That's,
Exactly.
that's the two
It's
things
like
he
he
likes
does.
doing anyway.
We love it. So, guys, feeling good. You've got the girls up next. You know, lots of amazing divers in this weekend. What's been your favourite moment so far? Of other people, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give me a diver. Give me a performance.
Well, Gemma MacArthur
Yeah,
for
right?
winning
Amazing.
today. Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah.
And then Dan in the individual,
Yeah,
as well
yeah,
as
yeah.
Anthony. They,
Yeah.
but they,
Yeah,
you know,
Anthony,
all it's the year of the
Underdogs.
underdogs.
Yeah.
It seems, you know. It's
I kind of
insane.
like that though. I think it
Yeah.
really is
It's nice.
making for an interesting competition,
Yeah.
and everything coming down to that last dive.
Exactly.
Yeah, but look, congratulations, guys,
Thank
on your
you.
gold medal. You joined our wall, our
Oh,
best
okay.
of British.
The
So
wall
I'm going to
of
get your
fame.
photo.
Okay, right.
You need to smile
Wait
for
for
my
the orange
Polaroid from the 50s. Beautiful. That go off?
No,
oh, God, I sound like
it
my
will now.
dad.
I think the light's gone on. I think it'll work.
It's gone on. It's going to
Okay.
work now. Yes.
Yeah, there we
Oh,
go.
God. How
I
embarrassing.
think I blinked.
Anyway, thank you so much, guys. Congratulations
Thank you very
on your
much.
first
Thank
win. Hopefully, I'll be seeing one of you back here tomorrow.
Yes.
But good luck with everything.
Thank you very much.
Right, guys, champions Tom and Matty are still to come. Loads happening tonight. We've got the women's 3-meter synchro and lots of guests to chat to, don't we, Jess? My ears have gone out. What are we doing? What are we doing? Oh, we're going to go to a schedule. Let's go to that. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, man.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. I need to sign a very noisy dry dive, and I'm being joined by a rising star in the ranks of British diving, Lucas Thompson. Lucas, thanks for coming down, mate.
Oh, thanks for having me. You know, love having a chat.
Who doesn't? Big year for you. We've got Team Scotland's Young Athlete of the Year. We've got British Swimming's Emerging Diver of the Year. What was it like to receive both of those honours?
Absolutely amazing. Like, I mean, going into the year, none of this had been planned in the sense. You know, it was just focusing on my goals of trying to get to commies and seeing where that takes me. And it was really nice in the latter half of the year, having done all that, and I've done better than I expected in that, to go to all these awards nights and have a great time and get all these awards. It's really an honour.
And to sort of see that payoff, I suppose, you know, working towards something as such a young athlete and then achieving it. Did you ever think that that was a possibility?
I mean, it's always a possibility, and I think, like, I try and have this motto of, you know, unleashing that potential you have within, because it's only you that has that. You know, you're the only one who's restricting yourself. We'd never know what our potential is fully within us. So I try and keep that attitude of, you know, just focusing on the process and seeing where it takes you. Yeah.
Oh, I love this. Quite prolific at such a young age as well. Now, wait, big competition, start of the season. How are you feeling heading into the weekend?
I'm excited. Yeah, the training's been going well, and been working on a new dive, incorporated that into the list.
Exciting.
Yeah, so it's been frustrating the past 6 months through pre-season. It's always quite tough. You'll hear that with all the athletes, but finally having got that dive to the point where I can compete it now, I just learned it a couple of weeks ago, so it'll be exciting to do it. You know, you'll see me up on the 10-meter a bit nervous, but you know, I'm excited and it's been going well. So.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I know everyone is as well. Now, you as well, love to have a laugh. This is why we love Lucas. You have one of the best profiles I've ever seen of any athlete in any sport on Team Scotland page. And I just want to take you through a couple of them. Did you know I watch? This is the question. Did you know I watch? What was your response to that?
Goats on YouTube singing Whitney Houston. Absolutely brilliant video. You know, I have a playlist. It's titled like Save Videos to Watch When in Need of Watching Something to Make You Happy. And I have these list of like videos that make me happy, and that's one of them.
That's one of them.
Yeah.
So if everybody's having a tough day, you watch a goat singing Whitney Houston.
Yeah, definitely check it out.
Just amazing. Sporting hero.
Jackie Chan.
The most random answer ever. Why Jackie Chan?
Well, I couldn't think of anything, and I was going through all the questions, and you know, Jackie Chan's pretty, you know, inspirational with all his karate moves and that. So yeah.
Some awesome films. And finally, this was my favourite. What was your dream job as a child?
Adult.
His dream job as a child was to be an adult.
I mean, you know, you always think, you know, oh, I want to grow up, and I've kind of got to this age now where I've realised actually I kind of still want to be a child.
This is true, but you do realise like everyone on the planet is going to achieve your dream job. Pretty much, you know? You're going to be an adult. You're almost there yourself.
Nailed it.
I love that. You're a whole lot of fun. Look, thanks so much for coming down. I look forward to seeing this dive. Good luck over the weekend.
Thank you.
We'll see how it goes.
Thanks very much.
Brilliant, man. And we're back in the studio. If you didn't notice, that wasn't a schedule. That was a video. I caught up with Lucas Thompson, one of the divers from that last event a couple of days ago. He's a little legend, as are these girls. They were the champions of the 10 meter synchro the other day. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Eden and Lois. Welcome back. Welcome back to Deep End Live. How you girls doing? Good. Yeah. I mean, your competition's over now. Talk us through how has this weekend been for both of you. Let's start with you, Eden.
I think this weekend's a bit of a learning experience. Trying to, as Lois said as before, brushing off the cobwebs, getting it back into the season. I think it went well. Some good things, some bad things, things to learn from, and improve for this season's competitions coming up.
I mean, there's loads of room to do that as well. You know, we're at the very, very start, so obviously things will change as the year progresses. Lois, very experienced diver. You've sort of competed at many, many, many internationals around the place and all that sort of stuff. Is it always nice to come home and compete on home soil?
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, I used to train with Synchro Tonya here, so I've been here and trained by dives so many times. But I think this nationals was good to, like you said again, like get the cobwebs off and just get into the swing of things. And I feel like we did that in synchro, and then today in individual. I was pleased with how I did overall. Obviously, like little mistakes here and there, but that's stuff to work on for like the rest of the year. So I'm happy overall.
You're happy overall.
Yeah.
Always a good place to be when you finish your competition. Now, one thing I want to know, this is for people who do compete individually and with synchro as well, especially from that 10 meter. Do you prefer to have someone up there with you? Yeah?
Yeah.
Because I imagine, like, I'd be so nervous on my own up there, but if you're doing it with someone else, you got it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think when I'm nervous, I get a bit shy sometimes. So when I'm doing synchro, I'm always just like talking absolute rubbish to Eden. She probably doesn't listen to half of it, but it makes me feel better.
It makes you think, it puts your nerves at ease. And who counts in the dives out of you two?
I do.
You do? Yeah? Is that by choice or you're just like, you do it lower?
I don't know, I think it just kind of happens. Yeah.
Naturally. It always interests me, you know, who's going to do that. But you girls, you finished your competition, of course. How are you going to celebrate? It's over and done with.
I think I'm having a curry tonight.
A curry!
Yeah, I've
Love
been looking
that.
forward to that all week.
What'd you go to?
Tikka masala, I think.
A tikka masala.
Yeah,
Oh, I love that. Classic. Can't beat a tikka masala. Tikka masala and a bit of naan. What about you, Eden? What's your guilty pleasure?
A pizza.
A pizza.
Yeah.
It's up there for me as well. Look, congratulations. It's been a brilliant week. You're going to stay here with me because we are, of course, going to be playing our duck challenge in just a moment. But before we get to that, these ladies are the professional divers. Chris, our man in the know, actually taught me how to, well, attempted. Let me rephrase that. He attempted to teach me how to do a 1.5 somersault dive the other day. So let's take a look at how I did. Here it is. Right, I am here with this legend, Chris Mears. He's going to teach me a few things today. I'm a little nervous. 2 years ago at the European Championships, Tom taught me how to dive, and we almost got a 1.5. So I'm hoping 2 years on, we can do it now. What do you think?
I think that's definitely the main aim. The 1.5 nailed, upright hopefully.
Upright and not dead. That would be a good thing.
That would be good.
Yeah.
That would be good.
So what are we going to do? What are you going to teach me?
Well, we've warmed up. I'm going to get you to do some little technical things, just obviously to check that it's going to be safe.
Okay.
I want to get you doing a somersault, off of this board, the 1 meter board. Obviously, dry rigs up with a mat.
Okay.
And I'm going to make sure it's all safe, it's all kosher, it's all good. You're
It's
going to
all
be fine.
good. All right, good.
And that is going to basically prepare you for the 1.5 in the pool.
All right, let's do it. Tom, I hope I remember all of your training from 2 years ago. It's been a while.
Really good, yeah.
So we've done the somersault. I think Tom would be proud, right?
Mate, awesome.
Killed
you did
it.
a really good job. Point his toes and he's there.
Point my toes, big no. But I survived, I didn't die. What are we doing next? This is the new bit.
Right, so what I want to do, which I think maybe the part that Tom left out, is the drill to get you to really drill into your head the fact that you're going to be landing on your head, right? So you're doing a somersault and then you're going into the water, right, upright. So what I want to do is try and simulate that on the ground, and I think that'll really help you with your prep into moving that into the pool.
Okay.
It's a big step.
It is a
I
big
think
step.
we can do it.
This is a bit I'm worried about, but I'm master here. All right, let's do it.
Get your hands close to this. You were out here. Okay.
So there you have it. I'm actually feeling pretty good. How did I do in dry land?
Well, you had a really good teacher. I think he taught you well. It looks good. Looks promising.
Good. And we're ready for my chunks.
Yes.
Let's get into
Let's
it.
go.
So there you have it. That was my dry dive. If you want to see me actually dive into the pool, you're going to have to stick around. But girls, how did I do in that bit? The training.
Pretty good, yeah.
Oh, they're impressed. Look at that. I'm chuffed with that. Now, we're going to have our own competition here. Of course, the Duck Challenge. Everyone knows what's going on with this. It's sweeping the nation. It's the new thing. So, Eden, you're going to go first. All right, so come on over. Don't panic, but my only advice is focus, okay? You're aiming to beat 34. Grace got 34. So let's put 20 seconds on the clock. Your time starts now. Come on, Eden. Come on, get behind her, Lois. You're a teammate. Cheer her on. Come on. Oh, she's good. Actually doing really well. Come on, Eden, you got this. You're halfway there. You're 10 seconds in. Come on, you're trying to beat 34. You're going to have to move faster. 5 seconds. Oh, this one doesn't count. Fred is out. 2, 1, stop. Oh, these two, unfortunately, back in there. They don't count, but let's see how you did. We got 2, 4. You did quite well, I think. 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. She smashed me. I got 27. You tied with Chris. You're there in like 3rd position. 3rd. That's pretty good. I'll be happy with that. Let's get your score on there, and Lois, let's get you over here. Come on, your turn. Let's get you up there on the leaderboard. All right, you got 20 seconds. This is pressure. More pressure than you've ever been under. You've got to beat 24 to not be at the bottom. 3, 2, 1. Come on, Lois. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Keep them going, keep it going. Just focus in the zone. Imagine you're on that 10 meter and you're about to perform the perfect 10, okay? That's what's happening. Your family's in the crowd, top of the podium, 5 seconds to go. This is it, keep it moving. 2, 1, stop! All right, how did she do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32! Look at that, give me 5! Come on, don't leave me hanging, that was awesome. Girl, she killed it. 32, get your score on that. That was awesome. Congratulations to these girls, they just did incredibly well. Now, if you do want to see how I did in my dive, now's your chance, because we're going back to the wet dive, as we call it. Let's take a look. So now we're poolside. I've graduated to the big boys diving boards. Chris, think you did well in there.
You smashed it.
Okay, so what are we going to do here?
First of all, a couple of jumps into a dive, and then once we've done the dive and you've nailed that, hopefully, then we'll progress to the 1.5.
Okay,
we'll
start small, we'll start small.
Yeah, we'll start small.
All right, let's do it.
You got it. So you're on the board. This wheel, basically, the way this works is, the further this is back, the more spring you get out of the board. Okay. It's based on weight, but it's also based on your ability. So I think combining both of them, I think we want it on about 5.5.
Okay.
Because that's going to give you enough spring to be able to do a dive or 1.5.
Good job.
It was good. You're a little bit far out from the diving board, which means that when you start doing somersaults, you're probably going to end up wiping out on your back because your head's going to be down, your chest's going to be forward. Remember I said about keeping that chest up, yeah?
Dying. You've only done one jump. So I've mastered the jump. Next up?
The dive.
Okay.
So, same thing with the chest up, yeah? Landed here. It's great.
Okay.
It's great. Good tension as well.
Okay.
Nailed
A
it.
few mistakes, bit ones, but getting better.
I feel like we've ironed them out.
Okay.
You've got the dive now on lock. You had a great distance from the board, which is really important for the 1.5. You're
Okay.
going to need to carry that over into the 1.5. So,
Okay.
fingers crossed.
Everything you've taught me, I'm gonna do you proud. I'm gonna do you proud.
Let's do it.
So good. It was good?
It was so good.
Did him proud.
Mate, it was because you kept your chest up, right? You went straight up and then it just allowed you to come, like, float gracefully down into the water.
Gracefully into
Like
the
a graceful
water.
swan.
I'm over
Great.
the moon.
Mate,
Made up.
Killed it.
Thank you so much, brother.
Killed
That was
it.
awesome.
Well
that
done.
was awesome. Yes. There you have it. That was my dive, girls. What would I get?
7.5.
A 7.5. 7.5 and 8.
8.
7.5 and 8. Thank you so much. I'm chuffed with that. Parade started, which means you girls need to get out of here. And the man in the know, thank you for coming in, girls. Chris, welcome back.
Hello.
Final one of the night, 3 meter synchro for the women, ones to watch. Let's start with Scarlett and Maria.
I mean, I haven't seen much of the partnership other than what I've seen this weekend. I've seen these girls do some really good dives. Looks like maybe sometimes on the hurdle step it can be a little bit iffy. Hopefully they take off on all their hurdle steps. That is the main thing. And they're in time. Let's see what they can do. Catherine and Grace are really, really strong though, so they'll have to do something pretty special to be up with them.
Yeah, I mean, Catherine and Grace, they're competing obviously in the 3 meter tomorrow, but both up there on that 1 meter yesterday. So I'm really, really interested to see how they do. They're both world, European and Commonwealth medalists, both super strong divers, right?
They're highly decorated. They know what they're doing. They're veterans in their own right. They're really, really good at this event. They've got loads of world experience. I'm shipping them today, but anything can happen as we saw earlier on today.
It's got to go right on the day. Well, look, we're about to get started with it. Thanks so much for coming down and having a chat.
No worries.
It's our final one. We'll see you back here at the end of the competition to wrap it up. You better get back up into commentary, but for now, it's up to Bob Ballard for commentary and our final of the night, our final, the women's 3 meter synchro.
Hey, John Mason. And just need to wrap up something from the previous events. There is an appeal in on the 10 meter synchro. Basically, it was picked up, as you heard a few moments ago with Chris, that Noah Williams was supposed to do a back 2.5 with 2.5 twists, only did a back 2.5 with 1.5 twists in the final dive of the 10 meter synchro. He reported himself to the referee, said, sorry, I screwed up there. Judges did not pick up on it, so there is an appeal in at the moment, so at the moment the result won't stand. The winners, of course, will remain Tom Daley and Matty Lee. Just second place that needs to be sorted out, but Noah going to the referee to say, sorry, didn't complete that dive. Should have been a failed dive, but was given 46.44, so take those points away, and they don't finish in second place. We'll update you on that if we get, we will have, obviously, before the end of the session, we'll have the response on that, but good of Noah to go to the referee and say, I'm sorry, I got that wrong. Wasn't spotted by the judges, so I don't think Chris is quite aware of that because he's making his way upstairs. So once he puts his headphones on, I'll repeat it to him. But he brought you the real news from Yona earlier on that the appeal is in, and Noah Williams actually went to the referee and said, look, I didn't do that dive, I failed that dive.
Very noble of him.
Yep. So it looks like, well, the referee's got to decide what's going to happen. Obviously, it doesn't affect the winners. That'll be Daley and Lee, but second place will be affected. Well, I had a chat with Vicky Vincent earlier on. She had a bit of a nightmare day yesterday, to be absolutely honest for her, but she's full of hope and expectation. They're up first, the combination of Yasmin Harper of Sheffield and Vicky Vincent. We don't have pair 5, so we're down to 6 in this. So the Crystal Palace combination should be in pair 5 and not with us, so everybody else is. Catherine Torrance and Grace Reed will go 2. Holly Waxman and Emily Bear Park 3. Maria Babworth-Burrell and Scarlett Mew Jensen 4. Then we'll move on to Callie Eagleston and Evie Smith, and then Kaylee Sinclair and Summer Ratcliffe. So the aforementioned Vicky Vincent, Vivi, will be going with Yasmin Harper. Opening dive off the 3. Of course, they are required dives. The first 2, they've gone for the forward dive.
Now, Vicky in the 1 metre, she didn't really get any good hurdles, so good for her. Off the end of the board, very nicely, in time with the partner. Unfortunately, she was a little bit ahead, a bit more forward than her partner, which is why we're seeing some lower synchro scores there.
43.2, opening round of 5 for them. A big dive, I've got a couple actually, back into the program, 3.0s in 4 and 5. We're doing above 3.1 with any dive here. Catherine Torrance, Grace Reed. They're required, so they've gone for an inward to start.
A solid start for the girls. Catherine looked a little bit hesitant coming out of the pike shape there. Felt like she had a good look at the water. She didn't quite get her hands as flat as Grace did on the entry, but they were well in time. 48, not in the 50 zone, but admirable start.
I will be actually surprised if any of these combinations do get 50, but they are most capable, I suppose. Holly Waxman and Emily Bear Park, 4 leads. Back dive for them, which we will see from the next combination as well. All the opening dives, to remind you, worth 2.0 first 2 rounds.
That's a nice dive from the girls. They mirrored each other well. Unfortunately, both drifting a little bit over and both a little bit splashy as well.
42.60 is what they'll get, so third best of the 3 to go so far. Get a chance to compare and contrast because the next pairing will go with exactly the same dive, the back dive 2.0. And Burrell and Scarlett Mew Jensen will go with a forward 3.5 in lane in 4th round, which is going to be the same as Torrance and Reed will do in their program as well.
Not a bad dive there. Again, mirrored each other well. Both a little bit splashy on the entry. Not perfect by any means, but it was not too bad. 45.6. Again, not seeing anything above the 50 mark, but they're not going to be displeased with that.
Marks-wise, better than Waxman and Bear Park did on the same dive. Forward dive next up for Callie Eagleston and Evie Smith from Leeds and Crystal Palace. 14 and 13 respectively. No, we don't have those two. Can you take that one out? Here they come.
They're a little bit different in the hurdle steps. They're a little bit stompy there. They're both very slight, don't weigh a lot, so hard to get the board generating any movement there, but they mirrored each other well, and pretty good effort considering they can't actually get much height out of the board. They seem to convince the judges of the synchro marks.
Well, 43.8 will be okay. It's not highest score, not the lowest. Kelly Sinclair, Summer Ratcliffe, inward dive. Thompson Reed started with this. Got 48.
Oh, that looked really, really fast. Out of the board there, near side to us. Looked really quick and really had to squeeze the glutes to stop the legs overtaking her head there. She would have sailed straight onto her back, but she managed to prevent that and just about held it through the water.
Not a great return though, 40.80, lowest of the opening round. So Thompson Reed, 48, early lead for them. Now the second of the requireds for Yasmin Harper, closest to us, far side Vicky Vincent, and they will go with the reverse dive.
Now this dive was out of time. Unfortunately, you see them hitting the water at different times, and that was because the approach was slightly different and the timing on the board was different, so that threw the whole dive out of balance a little bit, and they weren't able to recoup and get back in time.
Yeah, Vicky going a bit higher than her partner, which resulted in the different landing times. Thompson Reed off to a solid start with a 48 on their inward dive. Reverse, same that we just saw from Harper and Vincent they'll be doing.
These girls jump really high out of the board. It's really nice to watch when they use the springboard like that, straight up into the air. Really nice synchro there. Unfortunately, not quite on the entries. If they'd have hit their entries, that would have sailed over the 50 mark. But they're just shy again.
48 first round, 48 second round.
Consistent. We like that.
We do. Was it consistently high rather than consistently low?
Yes.
Ollie Waxman, Emily Bearpark from City of Leeds. Both 16 and 17 respectively. It's a forward 1.5 with one twist, a bit more complicated.
Well, Emily went slightly over there, over-rotated. Seemed to throw a little bit more than her partner. Went into the twist a bit quicker, a bit too aggressive. Comes out with 5.5, 5.5, 6.5.
It's the lowest mark so far. First sub 40.
Dropping below 40.
So Maria Papworth-Burrell and Scarlett Muir Jensen of the Dive London Club in Stratford. And second of the requireds, last of them for them, is the reverse dive.
Oh, that was hard for Maria there. She made it hard for herself. She really pressed her legs away. Scarlett did a nice dive, worthy of straight sevens. Maria just struggling there just slightly to get the entry because she threw her legs away from herself. She obviously thought she was going to sail over, but she was okay.
Same score in round 2 as round 1 for Burrell and Jensen. So 2.0, again slightly more complicated than just a back or reverse or inward. Back 1.5 with half a twist.
Now these girls, they be small. They make a small splash as well. Hardly anything as they go through the water. Callie landing a little bit short, so she does throw up a little bit of splash. Good synchro though. Only 41.40, but not below 40.
And finally, on to Katie Sinclair, Summer Ratcliffe, the local pair from Plymouth. Back dive coming up.
A little bit out of time. Took off at different times there. One jumped higher than the other, didn't help the cause.
40.80. Confirmed result from the men's 10 meter synchro just handed to me, and the appeal is upheld. So Noah and Carl Cathari dropped to third. Ben Cutmore and Lucas Thompson finished second behind Daley and Lee. There you go. So 1, 2, 3 now confirmed in the 10. 1, 2, 3 as it currently stands in the women's 3. It's like that. With Torrance and Reed, we've got the required out of the way. We can go to the divers' choices now for the next 3 rounds. And it's an inward 2.5. Of course, Savicki's come down from the 10 meter ball because of her eye problems. She was a platform diver. That's how we got to know her initially. But, there's a couple of eye operations, so what's that precludes her doing the 10 anymore.
It's a good dive from the girls. Both steady. They come out of the dive slightly differently, and Yasmin was slightly further back. Victoria had a better takeoff out of the board.
Synchro was quite nice.
Synchro was good.
55.08 for the Sheffield Plymouth pair. Now a pair that we're going to see probably quite a lot this year on the World Series. Catherine Torrance and Grace Reed. Forward 2.5, 1 twist.
Catherine didn't get a great takeoff, but she proves again and again she doesn't need a good ride on the board to be able to do a good dive. She executes the dive really well. Grace did a really nice dive, nice takeoff, and had a nice ride on the board too. 65-70. They can go 70 points on that if they really get it right.
Well, by far the highest mark we've seen so far. Not surprising, because we are moving into different territory in terms of DD now. Waxman and Bear Park, 2.7 for them. Inward 2.5.
Little smile there from Emily before she approaches the end of the board. Looks happy to be there. And that was a good dive from the girls. Really confident. Nice takeoff. Good through the water. Emily slightly over. And her partner as well, just a little bit over. They mirrored each other very well.
54.27. So we moved out of the realms of the 40s and 30s into the 50s. Now, only 2 pairs are doing a 3.1. Here are the other ones. It's not this dive, but the next dive will be a forward 3.5. But just edging into the 3s now with inward 2.5 for Burrell and Jensen.
Using this dive in the pipe position, it's a risk, and they pulled it off. Really nice dive. Great synchro by the girls. 65.7. They can both do the dive, probably slightly better, but they mirrored each other really well. The synchro was very nice.
Well, same mark that Torrance and Reed got for a different dive, admittedly, but third round dive. They haven't lost any ground on the leader. Eagleson and Smith from Leeds. Back 2.5. 2.8 this is worth. All but one of their dives in this fashion.
Now, Callie did very well there because she leant back quite a lot. And you see, actually, both of them leant back quite a lot, but Callie really took that dive down. Really nice hands on the finish. And her partner did a good job too.
55.44 for the Leeds pair. Or Leeds and Crystal Palace pair, I should say. Plymouth combined for the last dive of round 3. Katie Sinclair, 20 years of age, 13-year-old partner, Summer Ratcliffe. Forward, 2.5 somersaults.
Now they both, I think, were a bit too aggressive on the start of that, a bit too up for the competition. Bit of adrenaline. They both sailed that one over. Well, they did it together, so they won't be able to blame anything on the other person, which is always good.
Having a talk, having a chat. Off they go. To talk about this, because there's not too many pairs here. You don't get very long in between to set yourself up for the next one. But we're back around to round 4. At the moment, the lead is only 5 points between Thompson, Reed and Burrell and Jensen. 161 plays 156. Here comes Harper and Vincent, Yasmin, Vicky. Forward 2.5, 1 twist, 2 3.0s to finish. Vicky doing the counting.
They looked quite casual before they actually did that dive. I saw them having a conversation between each other. And they both seem to do a pretty good dive. They both washed that over just a little bit. Just not quite in the 60s because of that washing over on the end of the dive.
57.6 it is for the Sheffield-Plymouth pair. Now the favourites coming into this are just about with their noses in front, but not a massive margin between them and Burrell and Jensen. So Torrance and Reed, this is their big dive. Only 2 diving pairs are doing it. Forward 3.5. Ooh, it could have gone so wrong.
It could have gone wrong. They made it happen. Catherine tilting her head as she comes out of the water there. She's not happy with that. She goes over rotates. Grace doing a nice dive there from 3 metre. Catherine's not too happy about it.
Well, she'll be happy they both landed in the pool, because I'm not sure that was going to actually happen at one stage. But so it might just have opened the door a little bit for the London combination to come after this. First though, forward 3.5 in tuck position for Waxman and Bear Park.
And both of them just not quite pulling that off. The somersault was a little bit open from both of them, and again they both mirrored each other really, really well, but unfortunately this wasn't in a positive manner. They both sailed the dive over, unfortunately. They should, but unfortunately now the synchro judging is overall impression orientated, which means they mark both dives as they see them and the synchro.
Yeah, that's kind of a way that's evolved over 20 years. Now Burrell and Jensen got a chance here to just make up some ground, maybe overtake our leaders. It's going to be close.
These girls
it's going to be close.
Do the dive in piked, 3.5 somersault piked, and there was a leg split there from Maria Papworth, and that won't go unnoticed for sure. Scarlett did a really nice front 3.5 pike. She's very capable of that and gets flat in a pike shape. Doesn't quite jump as high as Catherine and Grace.
What are the odds they got exactly the same mark, 57.66 on
Well,
that
there
dive?
you go.
Exactly the same.
Exactly the same. Not far behind.
Callie Eagleston, Evie Smith up with their reverse 2.5.
And we had some different timings going on there in the hurdle step. You see Callie into the end way quicker and off the board straight away, but then they kind of made it work. It kind of worked towards the end of the dive, but unfortunately it's got to be right all the way through the dive, even from the start of the hurdle step.
And last but by no means least, Kelly Sinclair, Summer Ratcliffe of Plymouth. Plenty of home support. Still a lot of people here enjoying the women's 3.
Well, the synchro was good. Again, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't all there. They both landed short, one shorter than the other. The fact that they landed short, they will be marked down for that, unfortunately. The hurdle steps were good, though. The tuck shapes were a little bit open.
47.04. So going into the last round, still only 5 points separate 1 and 2. And they've got exactly the same tariff dive, different dives, however, but same tariff, R3.0. So could be a swing either way there. Harper and Vincent in third. Here they come. Stop chatting, girls. You've got a job to do.
Very casual, aren't they?
Got a little dive to do here, you two. What are you doing tomorrow? I don't know. Shopping, maybe.
Sometimes it's good to be casual, but sometimes too casual can distract you.
Well, this is their equal biggest dive tariff-wise. Back 2.5 somersaults, 3.0. They're in third place, so chance of getting on the podium. Ooh, they had a chance of getting on the podium.
Almost there. Vicky doing a nice dive, just slightly short of vertical, throwing up quite a lot of splash. Her partner Yasmin landed shorter, unfortunately, and threw up more splash. That's not helping their cause.
I did say to her earlier, why do you want to watch dives like that back? She said, oh, I don't know. Of course, she's just done exactly that.
I think it becomes a forced habit over a period of time when you're just used to after you dive, however it is, good, bad, ugly, whatever, you go and watch it.
Well, Thompson and Reed have got to make sure they get this one pretty much nailed on, because there's some hot breath coming from Burrell and Jensen, 5 points adrift. So they've both got same tariff dives. This, though, a back 2.5.
That's better from the girls. Grace took all the water down with her. Really, really nice dive there from Grace. Catherine, a little bit heavier on the water and a little bit over. But that's more like it from the girls, and they've set down the benchmark. It's going to be quite hard for Scarlett and Maria to match that or to beat it if they want to take the win.
71 needed, which I can't see in this quality competition doing, but we'll find out next dive after this one. Holly Waxman, Emily Bearpark. Now they've got a chance of getting third. Maybe. No, they've got to get 72. It's probably too much to ask for, but it's 2.8 as well. It's the reverse 2.5.
Oh, they both went over, unfortunately. Emily's dive was slightly better than Holly's. As you can see, it was just a little bit over throwing up splash, but unfortunately Holly pulling that dive way over a vertical, penalised for that by the judges.
So that'll be 2:16.27 for them. So 285 is the magic number. They're on 2:14, so yeah, it's got to be 71, which is a lot to ask.
Come on, girls. Let's see what you got.
It's possible. Forward 2.5 with one twist. I think under 71, and it's going to be Torrance and Reed who are our champions.
The hurdles, they weren't good enough. Scarlett, a better ride on the board than Maria. Maria really stomped that one, and she was a bit hesitant at grabbing her hands before she went into the water. They were both a little bit heavy on the water as well, so only 56. They needed 70-something, I think, to go ahead, and they haven't done.
Penultimate pair in the competition are Callie Eagleston and Evie Smith. 14 years of age and 13 respectively from Leeds and Crystal Palace, and their swan song is the inward 2.5 somersaults.
Not a bad dive there from the girls. Unfortunately, Callie just sailing over, put her head down in the tuck shape, which led her going over a vertical by quite a way. But her teammate, Evie, puts it down quite nicely. Synchro is a bit out as well.
Yeah, it's pretty much like the top three is sorted. With Torrance and Reed, Burrell and Jensen, Harper and Vincent. Just curious of whether Sinclair and Ratcliffe can get themselves off the bottom. Back 1.5 somersaults, 2.5 twists to finish. A bit above 44 so far, so could do with getting a bit further up.
On the 2.5 twist part, they were together. One of them was a little bit further back, a little bit further down in height. But unfortunately, they didn't land together, which makes it hard as a synchro judge to give it kind of anything more than a 6, 6.5.
47.88 will lift them to 5th. But in the end, it was relatively comfortable. 14-point margin between our winners and second. So congratulations again to Catherine Torrance and Grace Reed. Got the job done with 285. And Arlen Jensen and Harper and Vincent in 3rd place. So 1, 2, 3. And while we're waiting to hear from our winners, just to repeat again for you, the result of the 10 meter synchro has been changed. The win stays with Daley and Lee. Cutmore and Thompson now promoted to 2nd, and Williams and Kathari in 3rd because of that what should have been a failed dive in round 6 by those two. Wasn't spotted by the judges, but Noah going to the referee saying, actually I failed that dive. Not spotted by the judges, but very honest from Noah Williams, and because of that they are relegated from 2nd to 3rd. That's the result of the women's 3. Remember, tomorrow we'll have the big event. Most people think it's the most eye-catching. It is the men's platform. We'll have a women's 3 meter preliminary at 10 o'clock, followed by the men's platform preliminary. Then the final session here in Plymouth, session 8, will contain the final of the women's 3 and the men's platform, which is always exciting, and you'll be able to see that with us here on the British Swimming YouTube channel or on BBC Connected TV. All that happening tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock. All the action with Chris and myself in the prelims from 10 o'clock on the British Swimming YouTube channel. Thank you for all your reactions so far, all your social media interactions with both Chris and myself, and indeed John. It's all been very well received. And how do you like the new format, how we are doing things? I can see our winners just moving into position. Actually, can't get it off. Help her. There she goes. Chris going to be the gala man, going to help her put it back on. We're going to hear from our winners, say there were relatively comfortable winners in the end, were Catherine Torrance and Grace Reed. Good program all the way through. 65, 57, 65. Let's hear from Torrance and Reed with John Mason.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a way to finish the night. Here with Grace and Kat, your new champions of 3 meter synchro. Congratulations, girls.
Thank you. Really happy.
Really happy. You're both beaming. Yeah. I love that. What a nice way to finish off the night. How was it for both of you? Oh, look how polite they are.
So in sync. Yeah, I was really happy with it all. 285 is not a bad score to start off the season with, so I think overall it was nice and steady. Our synchro feels like the best it's ever felt in a while, so I think, well, I'm really happy, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, coming into a competition at such an early stage of the season as well, what are you hoping for going into it? Because obviously there's a lot that you can improve on, but at this point?
Yeah, at this point, we just sort of want to be getting comfortable, I think is the biggest thing. We've changed a lot. We've been training really hard, so we were hoping that would show today. And again, consistency was there today, which we haven't had in a while.
Yeah.
So I think really good like building blocks.
We've got some here for you. There you are.
I'm so sorry.
Now you can watch and just see. But synchronicity and... I mean, they all look great to me. You guys are very strong starts. Obviously, things you can work on. That consistency, is that one of the hardest things to get when as a synchro pair?
Yeah, I think especially because obviously we train at opposite ends of the country, we don't get a lot of time together. Yeah. But yeah, I think individually we both tend to be quite consistent divers anyway, so I think having that in synchro is a really good thing to have.
So how does that work, training at opposite ends of the country and trying to find time to meet up to do this?
Good organisation and planning, that is paramount. Yeah, I think we travel a lot. Obviously, when we go away to competitions, it's a bit easier. We share a room, we're there in the same pool. I go up to Leeds, Catherine comes down to London, and you know, it's part of the job, but it is a bit of a sacrifice. You know, you're away from home more than you are already, but it's definitely worth it when we get results today.
And obviously, you girls are such close friends as well. Does it ever get, I mean, you train together, you travel together, you stay in the same rooms together and stuff. Does it ever get too much, like a sister, you know?
I mean, I would say too much. I think,
good.
Yeah.
You're good.
And I think when we see each other, we're both just so happy to see each other, even if it's been like a week. We're like, oh my God, I miss you so much.
It's so sweet. I love
I'm
that.
really lucky. Like, we've got a really good partnership, and I think we're learning how to be friends away from the pool a bit better.
Yeah.
So if training's not going well, we leave it there, and then we can be Grace and Catherine that are really good friends. So we're getting better at that as well.
Oh, that's a balancing act, though. And I think that probably comes with experience, right?
Yeah,
I think
for
that's
sure.
very experienced. But look, congratulations.
Thank you.
Second medal, first medal of the weekend. Both competing tomorrow in the 3-meter.
Yeah.
So now going head-to-heads. We love this. Right, best of British. I need to get your photo. We're going to put it up the wall here because you guys are now our champions of the 3-meter synchro. So smile for the Polaroid. There we go. We'll get you to sign that and get you up on the wall.
Yeah.
Hopefully see one of you ladies back here tomorrow, whichever it may be. But congratulations once
Thank
again.
you very
Go and
much.
enjoy your night.
Thanks.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, darling. Ladies and gentlemen, Kat and Grace, you girls hop out. I'm going to bring in the main man, Chris. We've got to wrap up. What an exciting day. I tell you what, girls, don't go anywhere. I've got to get you to... Oh, it was a trial one. Smile for me. There we go. I'm going to get you to sign that. Thank you, Jess. Studio manager Jess can sort that out. Now, Chris, let's finish off day 2. What a day.
It's been eventful, to say the least.
That's true, yes. I mean, so let's start with the first event that we had today. You know, obviously we had the men's 3-meter synchro, an old event that you're very comfortable with. What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, in the men's individual, that was interesting. The prelim was all over the place, to be honest, for the boys. And you know, we had some guys doing some good dives, but on the whole, it was, man, people really really lost their head in parts of the competition. It was really interesting to watch that, how that developed into the final.
Yeah.
And the same kind of thing happened, to be honest. And we saw Jack Law, one of the world's best divers, Olympic silver medalist, coming way down the field. And it just shows, man, it just shows that you keep your eye off the ball, anything can happen in these events. And we saw Dan win. That's his first time really competing like this at a nationals. He's done a few, but with that list, he did really well. That's a really respectable score as well.
Yeah, I mean, he did a great job getting on top of that podium. Same thing, we then went to the women's 10-meter platform. Surprises, left, right, and centre. Gemma had an absolute cracker, didn't she?
No, I'm so pleased for Gemma.
Yeah.
Obviously, a little bit sad for Lois as well. She's a former teammate, but so close, like agonisingly close. I was right on the edge of my seat watching the whole time, but Gemma deserved that win. She really nailed it home. That in with 3.5 to end. It wasn't the best dive she could ever do, but under that pressure that she had, there's immense pressure, she delivered, and that shows really strong strength of character.
Definitely. And I mean, we kept up there for the platform, moved on to the men's synchro. First time we saw Tom and Matty up there as a partnership out at a meet this sort of big. Great stuff they were pulling out of the bag as well. It really seemed to be coming together.
Definitely, and that was an interesting event as well.
Yeah.
We saw some mistakes in there, and not just from Kyle and Noah. We saw mistakes from Matty and Tom, but they weren't as big. Just little things here and there, but on the whole, I was really impressed with the list. One of their first times out. I think they did one competition before this, but it was really solid. But Noah accidentally doing 1.5 twists instead of 2.5 twists to finish off. That was a real surprise, and I caught up with him a minute ago, and he doesn't really know what happened. I'm sure we'll go back to the drawing board and work on that in training, but it was a really exciting competition.
And these things do happen to everyone. Like, no one ever has a 100% consistent rate all the time, do they? Like, everyone does make mistakes at times.
If we did, we'd all be the champion.
Exactly. And we finished off there, obviously, Grace and Kat, such a strong, formidable sort of duo coming onto that 3-meter.
Yeah, do you know what? They're so fierce. Them girls, they're so lovely. The way that they work together kind of reminds me of the way me and Jack used to work together when we were competing at the top of our game. We were just so focused and we were just such good friends, and them girls carry that same kind of presence in that competition.
Yeah.
And they jump so high. It's so good to see.
Yeah.
The girls right up there and nailing some of the entries as well. It wasn't the best performance they've ever done by quite a long way, but it was enough to take the win today.
Yeah, so it was good to see. So there you go, all over. It was all around, I think there was a successful day 2 of the British National Cup. Tomorrow, final day, okay, day 3. This is your last chance to tune in and catch up with some stuff. We're going to get the schedule up here. 10 a.m. will be the prelims, of course, for the women's 3-meter and then the men's 10-meter. You can catch that on British Swimming's YouTube page. Of course, we come live here with Deep End Live on BBC Sport and BBC Sport Connected TV. At 3:30 tomorrow is the final, so we'll be on 15 minutes before that for the women's 3-meter final. And finishing, final event of the entire weekend, that men's 10-meter final is going to be at 4:20 p.m. tomorrow. So make sure you tune in. It's been an absolute pleasure being here today, and I shall see you all again tomorrow. From me and the man that is Chris Mears, we're saying good night, and we'll see you later.
The latest in tech suit innovation. Frictionless fiber construction. Surface lift technology. Endo compression cage. Seamless exo shell. Tier Benzo. Battleborn.
You